Something that a lot of people wonder and ask me is, how much can they obtain in compensation after being injured in a car accident? The answer to that question is, it depends. First thing people have to look at is establishing fault or liability of the other side, of the other driver. So if you're in a car accident, you first need to prove or show that the other driver caused you to be injured. So for example, if you're driving, minding your own business, and someone hits you from behind, known as a rear ender, that's typically easier to prove than some other situations, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that needs to be looked at is, what are the nature and extent of your injuries? What are your damages? Did you have extensive medical treatment? Do you have serious bodily injuries? Do you have psychological trauma? Did you incur loss of income? That sometimes is a factor. So that's the next thing that people should look at and consider. By the way, there's no set formula in determining that. For example, just because your medical bills are a certain dollar amount doesn't mean that you have an automatic amount that you multiply to determine pain and suffering. It's really case by case. Generally speaking, the greater the severity of the injuries and the more extensive the medical treatment, the higher the value of your case, your claim is worth, right? So that's something to look at as well. And another important factor that people should be aware of but aren't always thinking about is collectability or applicability of insurance coverage and policies on behalf of the at-fault driver. So for example, if someone causes a car accident and you're injured because of that person's negligence, it's important to know what kind of liability insurance limits that other driver has, okay? Some people are driving around with the minimum limits required under California law, which is only $15,000 maximum to any one person that they injure. And that's not very high if you have serious injuries. Let's say you go to the hospital and you have extensive medical treatment that needs to be received after the accident for many months or even years. So in that scenario, hopefully you or the injured person has higher underinsured bodily injury limits with your own insurance company, because that could be tapped into in that scenario. Or if, let's say, you're a victim of an accident caused by an Amazon delivery truck, then you could be dealing with $1 million commercial policy, and sometimes those limits are even higher for commercial policies. So really, that is something that we should all look at and be aware of too, in determining what can be recovered, after an injury accident as well. And if you're interested in more personal injury content such as this, and how the law offices of Sears & Associates may be able to help you or a loved one, feel free to reach out to us. And also don't forget to follow and subscribe on our social media such as Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.